Hey guys, welcome back to the Call to Action podcast. I'm your host Josh, and we have two special guests with me today.
Hi, my name is Jacob Skaggs. I'm Josh's older brother. I have been around the block a little bit, grew up in this church, but went off to college like the average young American leaves their church and goes to college, right? No, I stayed with the faith, done some fun stuff, led some music, and that's related to our topic today.
I'm Brian. I'm usually the guy behind the camera here. I'm also the worship leader here and recently now the youth leader here at Cornerstone. And yeah, we're talking about music. Music has kind of been my thing. I lead the music here. I'm also the band director in Concord, which is just across the state line. And yeah, excited to be here and be on this side of the camera today.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we get started, I have a kind of an icebreaker question for you guys.
Okay.
If you could hang out with one person in the Bible that's not Jesus, who would you just be chilling with?
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go?
You got it.
All right.
We'll just go down the line.
I kind of my answer is a bit of a cheat. I want to hang out with the sons of thunder, the sons of Zebedee. These are James and John, two of Jesus' disciples that I kind of expect to be the most petty. Because just look through the book of John, and you're gonna see John say, he's going to refer to himself as the disciple Jesus loved. He's going to say that, he got to the tomb first. He's the fastest runner. Mm-hmm. And that just definitely fits for me. Yeah. And I just want to see those two beef it out all the time.
You are pretty petty.
Yeah. Well, I like to witness the petty. Okay. And just watching two brothers just go at each other, probably slipping back into Hebrew because they're gotta argue in the native language,
Mm-hmm. So what I get to do right now, watch two brothers go at it.
Yeah.
Right. But you'd probably be James because everyone knows I'm faster and I'd be John.
Sure, yeah.
And Jesus probably loves me more.
Well, I bet you James is a little smarter, so. Yeah. Okay, what do you got?
My pick, I gotta go with Samson, ultimate gym bro.
Of course.
Just pour some dry puff some creatine.
Okay.
Dry scoop.
Sure.
Some creatine. Dramatic exit right before he dies. Brings the whole house down with him. If I'm going out, you're coming with me. Beautiful hair.
How much do you think Samson lifts?
Probably a whale. Just his morning routine is just curling a whale.
Okay, crazy. How much do you think he lifts after the haircut, though?
After the haircut?
Yeah, once he loses the strength.
I'll give him 225.
225? Mm-hmm. Are you still talking curl?
Bench.
Oh, okay, bench.
Okay. Oh, man.
Standard gym bro.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, standard.
Okay, Brian, what you got?
I'm going to go with Elijah. Mm-hmm. One, just a great example of faith, but also, when we look at him going up against the prophets of Baal, I just can't get over the fact that he standing there hey, we're here talking about how powerful my God is. You're there talking about how powerful yours is. He's not showing up, and he literally just asked them, hey, is he pooping? Where is he at? He literally asked him, is your God sitting on the toilet? Come on. We're talking about pettiness here. Come on.
Yeah. I think Elijah's got the award for most petty servant of God.
Yeah, man.
Except maybe Jesus. Jesus, the temple whip situation, that's something I aspire to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What are we talking about?
So today we're going to be talking about platforms. So, everyone has a platform, but before we get into all that, we need to talk about, what is a platform? And if we just look at the Oxford definition of a platform, it says a means or opportunity to communicate ideas or information to a group of people.
I'd like to point out that when I looked up the Oxford for platform, the first three options were a place to stand.
Yeah.
Literally platform.
I think that's probably what we think about most.
Yeah. Or platform heels,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm picturing Josh in some of those 8-inch platform heels.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you got a good platform.
No,
but what do we actually when we say platform? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so we're talking about just kind of how you can communicate with people like about God and God's love, and how you can just minister to other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got listed here a couple different kinds of platforms. Brian, you want to go through some of those?
Yeah, so when we're talking, especially when we're talking about spiritually, like platforms, I mean, obviously we have our pastors, we have our music leaders, those people that are on the platform on
Yeah,
Sunday
literally
morning,
the
that are literally on the
stage.
stage.
Yeah.
So those are some of the obvious ones. And then, well, like I said, I mentioned I'm a teacher, so teachers
Yeah.
are definitely someone that has a platform to teach, to lead and influence from. And then you have some of your modern day ones. You have your celebrities, you have your athletes, and then now you have your streamers, your influencers, and
Yeah. Instagram models,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of when I think about, a platform, I do often think about like social media, like Instagram or whatever it is, but generally just because that is the popular thing
Yeah.
nowadays. I mean, we have our platform here.
Yeah, the podcast is a platform. You reach,
Yeah.
100 people right now? And like 100,000 in a year, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, a year from now. But we actually think that there are platforms that reach more people than we do, either as teachers or like podcast hosts or like music leaders, because everybody goes to school or has work, and everyone has a family and friends, and that is a far larger platform
Right.
than, I mean, you don't think of it that way, but every person you talk to gets more from you than people on these highly visible platforms.
Oh yeah, I'd say that the everyday ones, those are going to be much more impactful too, because that's going to be someone that and they're going to take. I feel like we look to our leaders for inspiration, but who really has a greater influence in our life? Is it those celebrities? Is it those leaders, or is it the people that we see every day, that we talk to every day?
Yeah, I mean, I've brought more people to church as a college student than as a music leader ever. Like just hanging out with people and inviting them. That gets people in the door, and actually talking about God more than just, singing on the stage.
Yeah.
So I think the everyday person has a greater influence than even those that are influencers.
And I think a great thing, like kind of our main point here as to why we're talking about a platform and why it's important to know that we all have one. Matthew 28:19 through 20, the Great Commission, it says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am always with you to the end of the age."
See, when I hear that, something that Pastor Rob has mentioned several times here is it doesn't what's the first word in that? The first word is go. It doesn't say go when you feel ready or go when you're qualified. It doesn't say go. It just says go.
Go when you have your ministry degree.
Yeah.
Go when you know the Bible well enough.
Yeah.
Go when you have 10,000 followers. No. It also doesn't say how far to go. It does say to make disciples of all nations, but newsflash, you guys live in a nation. So start making disciples where you're at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man.
We've got another verse that speaks to different platforms and ways that people reach people. Romans 12:4 through 6. I don't know if we mentioned this, but today we're reading from the ESV, the English Standard Version of the Bible. But Romans 12:4 through 6 states, "For as in one body we have many members, and the members do not all have the same function, so we, though many, are one body in Christ, and individually members of one another. Having gifts that differ according to the grace given to us, let us use them. If prophecy, in proportion to our faith," and it goes on from there to list different kinds of, we kind of forgot to include that, but different kinds of gifts. I think that's really the crux of here in this platform thing, is we all have a different gift that gives us a different angle at which to reach people.
Oh, absolutely.
The three of us here are musicians, and that gives us a very particular angle. You've got a lot of, I don't know if control is the right word, but like a lot of influence,
Yeah.
a lot of
Influence.
like
Reach.
reach. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, and like especially like one of the things I think about whenever that made me start taking it a little more serious as far as when I am on stage, when I am working with music,
Mhm.
even before I was leading it, just being a musician on stage, to that person that's new to the church, to the person that's new to whether it's your location or whether it's new to the church in general. They see someone on stage. They don't know that they see that, hey, that's someone I can go talk to because clearly they have an influence in this church.
Yeah, they know what's going on.
Yeah, so there's going to be that assumption that if you're on stage,
Mm-hmm.
you automatically have a platform, even if you're not the leader. Like,
Yeah.
you're someone that maybe they'll be like, hey, I can go talk to that person because they recognize, they're like, hey, I saw them on stage. It's not just some other person that happens to be in the congregation. There's an automatic assumed leadership role just from being on stage.
Yeah. And the only person that seems to do more work for that new church member is someone that they go to work with, someone they go to school with, someone that they see in a crowd that they know.
Yeah.
All right. You want to get us going on the next topic?
Yeah, so obviously as musicians, it's not as hard for us because we literally have a platform, a literal platform. But we also have the figurative platform. We're not literally standing on a stage all the time.
Right. Yeah. The reach, the influence.
Yeah.
And so, how are we to use that platform? The figurative,
Yeah. I think it's very easy to get into the music part.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to just want to put your focus and your devotion on performing better. If you're playing guitar, you want to play guitar better. If you're playing piano, you want to play better.
Mm-hmm.
If you're singing, you want to sing better. And that's good. You should do better at those things. But the role of a musician in a church is a little more than just musician.
Oh, absolutely.
They are a minister of music. They have to make decisions about the worship service that are going to help the congregation worship. And so if you're trying to make your performance extravagant or focused on you, you're really losing the fight here.
Well, and there's just the attitude of, are you doing this as a form, as an act of worship, or is this just another gig for you? Is this just another chance to perform?
Yeah.
Which is also a whole other side topic. I have certain thoughts on like hiring out musicians to come to your church and perform.
Sure, yeah.
I used to live up in Minneapolis and worked at a music store there. There were a couple guys there that they didn't outwardly, you would not have guessed that they were Christians. And talking to them, I got to know a couple of them, and they were professing atheists.
Oh.
But they would play at churches just about every week because it was an easy gig for them.
Yeah.
And so that's.
I've had some friends that were either struggling with their faith, not super faithful, or just straight up atheistic, and they do take church gigs. It's I had a horn quartet I was in. I play French horn. Shout out brass people. But I had this horn quartet I was in, and one of them in the quartet I knew wasn't a super faithful person, but that person was just happy to get paid a little and travel with some friends, and that wasn't the case for all of us. We played in churches that some of us in the group went to, but yeah, not everyone's in it for the right reason.
Right. And to me, that kind of makes me wonder, like, why did the church hire them if they know they are not Christian? And I think that brings us to kind of the next thing we want to talk about, which is balancing relevance with faithfulness. It's maybe the church was like, well, if we bring these people here because they're good musicians, even though they don't follow God, I mean, they're good, so they're going to bring people.
Yeah. I think that's pretty relevant in like mega church settings of like, these big contemporary Christian bands like Bethel and Elevation that aren't always the most theologically sound. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, we're just calling them out. Okay.
Yeah, well, happens,
Want to be the first person.
You got like a revolving door of talented musicians that
Oh, yeah.
aren't always. I mean, maybe they are nominally Christian. They've been to church, but they're not. They're not there to elevate the message of Christ.
Absolutely. Well, and there's that difference of, I mean, in Psalms 33, it talks about how David played skillfully before the Lord.
Sure, yeah.
So there is that pursuit of excellence, but when that pursuit of excellence gets in the way or becomes the priority rather than the message or rather than the meaning behind it, that's when it becomes an issue.
Yeah, note that he played before the Lord.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole crux here.
So yeah, when that pursuit of excellence becomes the focus, that's when you end up with situations like this where the music is, again, where it's another gig for them. And yes, they're great musicians, but are we doing this for the right reason? Are we, again, when you're up there, are they doing it to honor God? Are they doing it as an act of worship? No.
So then what are the things that you do to shift from being a musician to being a leader, a worship leader, worshiping in your performance? What do you do?
So my immediate thought on it is just kind of what is the intent behind what you're playing.
Okay.
Who was it? Don Moen. He was a big guy back in the 90s. He had a whole series for worship leaders, for worship musicians. And one of the things that he emphasized really strongly is when you're out there is not over performing.
Okay.
So whenever you're over performing, it's playing more than necessary. It's, in my opinion, a Sunday morning church is not the place for a solo. It's not the place for that guitar solo, not for someone to show up and just tear it up on the drums. There's a difference between playing skillfully and showing off. And when you're showing off, you're pulling that attention away from worship. It's no longer about glorifying God. It's about pulling the attention to yourself.
Yeah, so I guess particularly worshipful performance would be aimed at engaging the congregation, engaging the singers, so to draw them in, and then also like engaging God yourself, engaging yourself with God.
And I would argue that there is a time and place for some of the, I guess I would say like the solos and stuff like that, because again, you're using the gift that God has given you, and you're wanting to give show like, here's what God has gifted me with. I want to give my best to Him. Sunday morning is not that place, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, like it does depend on the congregation.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's like a happy medium.
Yeah, for sure. I do agree with the happy medium approach. I enjoy a hymn service, but I also think that new artists and new musicians need to have their works played, and if it's good stuff and they're being faithful in their writing, then we should be uplifting them. We should be performing their stuff.
Well, I think that's a big part of it. There is as long as they're faithful and in their inspiration and in their purpose.
So then, how do you determine if someone is?
Oof.
Yeah, good question. Peer into their soul. How do you look at someone's heart and tell that it's in the right place? I think we all kind of know the answer here. You don't. Like you can't tell what someone's intentions are.
You know, it says you can identify a tree by its fruit.
Yeah, you know them by their works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a great way. Like you see in the rest of their life, you know, what are they doing?
Okay. Are there some ways we can see it in the music itself?
I think so. There's some extra stuff that might be going on.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I feel like that does go into kind of the next section that we were going to be moving into.
Oh, go ahead then.
One of the questions that we had when we were looking at this is, when we look at the heart behind what they're doing, the heart behind the platform. One that I feel like, especially as I feel like musicians, we really struggle with this is, how do you stop pride from sneaking in? How do you stop it?
Yeah.
Because, like, let's be honest, if you're a musician, you do desire that praise from other people.
And that's one of the 7 deadlies, you know? You'll get caught with that and gluttony. Those are the bad ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do your best without seeking gratification? And the answer for me has been having less care for that conversation you have after church where someone comes up to you and says that you did well, which it's a nice conversation, don't get me wrong. Please do tell us when we do well. But sometimes I've had experiences where I would go to church and I'd sing, and then I would leave and I wouldn't talk to anybody, and I would feel like I did bad, like I was letting someone down. But it's just an ordinary Sunday.
Like I've definitely had those times where I perform on stage, something goes wrong. Like for example, one day, because I have monitors back there because I can't really hear much.
Sure, yeah.
One day my monitors die, and so I pretty much don't hear anything the whole service. And I felt pretty bad about it because, like, I have no clue what it sounded like. And I was kind of nervous about it and feeling down afterwards. And someone came up to me after service and complimented me, and that did make me feel better. But also, you shouldn't be striving for that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been down in the first place.
Right.
Because whatever happens in a way,
Well, and also, I think back there was a specific service, again, when I was in Minnesota, the church there. There was one where me and the worship leader, we were talking just right after service about how, man, that, like, it bugged us the whole service to the point where we almost weren't even able to focus during the sermon. And just one of the songs, we felt like it just crashed and burned. We pushed through, and we made it to the end of the song, but just things were not clicking up. We were not locked in. It's like music, just from a strictly musical perspective, it was not good. But then we had someone come afterwards and talk to us, like to both of us while we were there talking, telling us about how it was during that song that God started speaking to them. They broke down into tears. And it wasn't because we sounded that bad, but it also goes to show that just because we might mess up doesn't mean God still can't use it also.
Yeah.
And so that really helped me, though, just to not put so much of a focus on perfection on Sunday morning. Because even when I mess up, who am I to think that my mistakes can get in the way of God's message?
Yeah, and sometimes perfect can be the enemy of good, This striving to get every note in the right place, or every like the right tone and the right mix and the soundboard and all that. You don't need it.
And something that our dad always says is, well, usually he tells me this after I tell him he sucks at singing because it hurts my ears.
He does. For the record.
Yeah, it is true.
It's
It
bad.
does hurt my ears. And I do tell him to stop. He never does.
I don't remember when it is. If you want evidence, there was a Sunday night like a year or two ago where he didn't realize that the microphone was on there at the sound booth. So you can actually go back and find John singing at some point, and it's very prominent in the Sunday evening service.
Yeah.
If you so desire.
Link in the description.
No, I'm not putting that.
Anyway, what does he tell you?
He always says, it says to make a joyful noise.
Yeah. The word says to make a joyful noise.
Yeah, not a good noise, but a joyful noise.
Although David is thanked for his good noises.
Right.
Yes.
The rest of us don't always have to be great.
Yeah.
As long as the heart's in the right place. Yeah. What was our next topic of discussion here?
Well, kind of the next one that I see here is we're talking about kind of continuing on that on worship versus performance.
Okay, yeah.
Where is that line drawn? Is it something that you can see?
So there are some performance practices that have become a little more common in this last 20 years, I guess, of like, say you've got a worship leader, he's singing and playing guitar, and at the 10th repetition of the bridge, he lets go of the guitar and raises his hands. I guess you can view that as worship because he's lifting his hands up to God. But a lot of times I feel like it's a little formulaic And it's like, he probably does that every time in that spot. And it's to get the congregation to lift their hands. When maybe he does the thing where he steps away from the mic, and now no one can hear him. Yeah, steps away from the microphone, no one can hear him, and he gets the congregation to sing. How much of that is worship and getting the congregation to worship? How much of that is a performance practice?
And that's where I think it comes down to what is their heart behind it. Are they trying to do it just to, hey guys, this is the part where we do this. Hey, this is what I like. Are they trying to do it, or is it because they are genuinely worshiping in the moment?
Yeah,
That's something like, I know also talking to some worship leaders, and maybe you can speak into this too, and both of you can. Sometimes it's hard whenever we're up there to allow ourselves to fully worship because you get focused on the music. And so it's like, yes, our job when we're on stage is to lead others in worship, but you also have to find that balance to allow yourself to also worship in that moment too. There's been times where that's happened to me, and there's been a couple times where I've had to step back, but it wasn't because I was trying to get them to sing louder. It's because I couldn't keep singing. Like there's been times where I've had to just try not to cry because I was worshiping in that moment. And it's just, I did have to step back because I didn't want everybody to hear me in the microphone.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
And it's incredible when that does get to happen. But it's not something we should try and force, or when it feels formulaic, because you'll see some, like I said, some churches, some especially the bigger ones that do the live streams, the mega churches. Okay, if you watch them do that song, what do you know? Every single time when they get to that third bridge, that singer is going to start crying every time. Is it because it's reaching them, or is it because it's a performance? It's because they're trying to force a reaction.
Yeah, and like if your camera pans to the person crying and like zooms in,
Yeah,
that's probably a good cue that it's to draw the
performance.
audience.
Yeah.
And if your camera pans to the guitar player that's shredding away during the cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about performance. One thing, like, I guess it kind of just applies to us as musicians, but there is something there for the non-musician too, and in the everyday life. And I think we see that in what happens when it is about the performance. It's about me and mistreating the sanctuary or that worship service. And we see this in John chapter 2, starting in verse 13 through 17. It says, "The Passover of the Jews was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple he found those who were selling oxen and sheep and pigeons, and the money changers sitting there. And making a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the temple with the sheep and oxen. And he poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. And he told those who sold the pigeons, 'Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of trade.' His disciples remembered that it was written, 'Zeal for your house will consume me.'" Yeah, so when we get into that performance, I think you can expect to start seeing some tables get flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're crying and the camera pans in right as the offering plate gets passed around, we know what you're looking for.
One also, so today we had a youth leadership conference here at the church.
Okay.
And one of the topics was talking about prayer. And one of the things we talked about was whenever Jesus called out the Pharisees and those going away from music here, when they would pray in public and make a big deal about, oh, woe is me, oh, I'm struggling so much, God. And when they're making the prayer an act to draw attention.
Yeah.
So that's like, we're not talking just about music here. Any platform can be used incorrectly or can be used wrongly. And that's one that's like, oh yeah, prayer's a good thing. But when you're doing it to draw attention to yourself, it becomes a problem. It becomes a performance.
Like, are you trying to be impressive or impactful?
Yeah.
Let's see. Where were we? Oh, let me just say the table flipping thing. Love it. Do that again, Jesus.
Absolute
That's my
baller.
favorite.
Flip some
Please.
churches over.
Yes. And, there's just so many times that we get in the wrong idea about what we're doing in our service. If it is a good thing, I'm going to go on my little soapbox here. It is a good thing to have a Christian t-shirt. Hear me out. It is a good thing to have a Christian t-shirt, sure. The bracelet, the WWJDs, that kind of thing. But some people just expect everyone to do that, Like, well, you can't be a good Christian if you're not showing the gospel everywhere you go. Sure, you should be sharing Jesus, but the bracelet is not in the Bible.
When we go from the armor of God to the costume of a Christian.
Yes, I love that. Yeah,
That's good.
putting yourself in the costume tells everyone that it's a performance. And I feel like people that rely on the costume often are the ones that aren't, that don't have theological depth. They aren't in the Word every day because they're posturing as Christian more than they actually are.
Well, I think that goes into the next one here. We're talking about, are we worshiping the platform? Is that our display, how we dress, what we look like? That can be a platform. I mean, when we're talking, whether it's talking about wearing the cross, wearing the WWJD bracelet, again, it becomes a platform. One thing I know that I have struggled with in the past is, prior to leading worship, I was really involved with the tech side of things, with the soundboard and the cameras and all the technology that goes into it. And it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. But it can get really easy to focus on just, are we using the newest tool? Are we using the coolest microphone? Are we using the best recording techniques?
It starts to get expensive too.
Yes, it does.
Taking money from the food pantry to buy a new microphone.
Right. And so it's finding that, okay, yes, these are good things that can, or they're not good things. They're just things.
Sure.
They can be used for good, but are we so focused on putting forth the best, the most polished product that it's no longer about worship? The point of the sound, of the tech, of the lights, of everything is to help others engage in worship. It's not to put on a rock show. It's not to put on a light show.
Yeah.
The whole point of it is to make it easier for the congregation to focus on worship, not to distract from it.
Yeah.
So that's something where it's easy as a computer guy to just again, we need a faster computer, we need a better lights, we need a better soundboard. If what you have is already doing the job and is helping to honor God and allowing technology to get out of the way, then that's where it should be. It shouldn't be about, again, adding another light, adding all this extra things. Oh, don't even get me started on the fog machine, smoke show and stuff.
Fire.
We do not need a pyrotechnic show.
Come on.
I think some of this can be translated to the everyday platforms. And I'm going to call out some specific ones among your family and your friends. Say you are the kind of guy who everyone dreads going to Thanksgiving with because they know that Uncle Brian at Thanksgiving is going to preach at me the whole time. He's going to tell me that my lifestyle is sinful, that I should go to this church instead of that church, that I need to dress better, that I'm, this, that, or the other. And don't be Uncle Brian in that scenario. Sorry,
Wow.
Brian. Yeah.
Couldn't pick another name, had to go with.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, Uncle Brian's the worst at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
He may look like my uncle, but he's not.
We have got that before, though. Many times.
Yeah.
Sean
Or
and
brother
their
or
dad and I are not related. We have been accused so many times of being brothers,
Yeah.
we've lost count.
We do kind of have a gradient situation of appearance going on here. We've got no
Child.
beard, but this face. And then we've got the same face, but yes, beard, and then different face.
With longer beard.
Much longer beard. You ever see the Animorph Yeah.
Just a
Like lizard into human.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's us.
Yeah, you got your own gradient going on with the brown
Yeah.
and blue.
I do kind of go brown to brown to brown down here. Don't worry about the fit. You can't see it. Anyway, the point. Where were we? It's
about putting on a show kind of to family.
yeah.
Or,
I mean, you
or
can put on a
being-
show in your life.
Yeah.
And the more effective way to minister to those around you is to just be there for them in their hard times and just have a good time with them. Like go to Thanksgiving and eat and talk and love people. Pay attention to the guy that isn't getting enough attention, you know.
Yeah.
The talk to a child. Those kinds of things. You don't have to preach in your daily life to minister in your daily life.
Absolutely.
People will see that you are kind-hearted, that you love people, and they'll know to come to you. Yeah,
We
they'll know to
mentioned that
come to you.
conference this morning. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, just took my name tag off. I forgot.
Yeah.
a saying that I always go back to, and again, it comes from a comedian by the name of Brad Stein. He was big back, like well, I won't say big, but if you remember Promise Keepers back in the day, which was like the men's, like they toured around the country doing the big giant arena thing.
Sure, yeah.
He was a comedian that toured with them. Very outspoken about his faith too. And one of the things that he said that has stuck with me is everything I do as a Christian should bring people to the cross, not push them away.
Yeah.
Like that really changes. Like the first time I heard that, I was like, okay. The more I thought about it, they're like, really, that plays a big role in my life. Like anything that I'm doing. Again, when we're talking about how our life, we don't have to preach to be ministering. Your life should make people want to be. If you're living your life to be more Christ-like, and people are going to see that and they're going to be like, I want more of that. Your life should bring them towards the cross. It shouldn't. Again, if you become that uncle that like nobody wants to talk to because they know you're going to preach at them, well, are you really bringing people to the cross then?
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of a there's a guy in Greenwood, Arkansas. Look this up. It's hilarious. There's this guy, his name is Ricky. And Ricky stands outside of a funeral home with signs telling people all of their sins and why they're going to hell. And why their family member that just passed is going to hell. And he dresses as Jesus. He's got robes. He's got the long hair. And he's armed. There's an armed man dressed as Jesus that holds up signs yelling at people outside of a funeral home.
That is wild.
And he thinks he's doing good for the Lord. And that is just, to me, like everything that you need to avoid in your life. That's
You're driving by, you're saying, yes, that's who I want to be.
right.
I want to be that guy.
Be nice to people outside funeral homes, please.
Yeah, so we all know that one uncle, but I think a lot of us probably are more like the one who's afraid to speak up.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about too much speaking up, not
Yes.
not enough.
And I think a lot of people will also fall into that. Like, it can be very hard to be outward in your faith and not conform to the world, but go against the world. And I think the biggest reason why we struggle with that so much is just a fear of rejection.
Yeah. This is not a new phenomenon. Peter denied Christ 3 times during the night before the crucifixion,
Yeah.
and he was the Pope. Like,
Depending on who you ask.
yeah, like Peter's the guy, and he still could not speak for Christ. He could not. When directly asked, "Are you a follower of Christ?" he said, "No."
This is a guy that knew him that knew Jesus personally.
Yeah. He was starting the church like a week later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and not just like a church, like the
The
church.
church.
Like started the first one,
Yeah.
and he still struggled to speak up against the world and for Christ.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you guys, maybe you don't have a story, but do you guys have any stories you can think of where you faced this or almost caved in and then came out through it?
I am a recent college graduate, and there's a lot of stereotype about college campuses being like atheist training grounds or whatever. I didn't find that to be largely true, but I did find that there was a little bit of a pressure in classes to keep things 100% secular. And I had this professor who was very upset with me for my decision to get married at a young age, because he thought that a better use of my time in college would be to sleep around and meet new people and find new experiences. And he thought that I was, just locking myself down too early.
So then you
Denying yourself of these educational experiences.
Yeah, I listened to him for sure.
Yeah.
No, I still got married. I still love my wife. Lovely. She's the best. But he called me out from a podium in class. He said all of this while teaching music theory. And I kind of kept my mouth shut. I just, I'm getting called out by a professor for my personal life. But I started, taking note of like how to call Title IX and that kind of thing. But I just stuck with my decision, and it turned out to be a good one. Love you, Savannah. And just following the path of Christ steadily and not changing my ways was enough. I didn't have to get in a fight with him. I didn't have to, shout.
Yeah.
I just stayed the course, and things went well.
Nice. So as far as that, when times when it's hard to speak up, something that I struggle with a lot is, and it's not because of any fault of my bosses or anything like that, but just being in public education, sometimes it's hard. It's like I want to speak up, and I see some of the kids going through things, and I want to essentially reach out there and be there for them and help provide some consolation for them. But I have that internal fear, because you hear all these stories about teachers that did share their faith with students, that did talk about their faith and all the bad things that have happened to them through the years. And so it's finding a way to be able to push through that and be like, is it really okay? Kind of when we talk about putting God first, putting Jesus first, am I really putting my job before Jesus?
Yeah.
And so this last year I did take a step out on that, and it was the first time I actually allowed myself. I just finally said, enough is enough. If this is what happens, this is what happens. Had a student that asked me about baptism, asked me about salvation. And so I just told the rest of the class, it was a music class, that, hey guys, keep playing. I pulled them outside, and then me and him talked, and I had the opportunity there to help guide them to Christ then and there. And
Wow.
First of all, it's the most memorable thing that I've had happen there at the school.
Yeah.
But it was scary, because I was like, am I really about to, in my mind, while he's talking to me, I'm like, am I about to step out of class and share my faith with a student during class? And I was like, if anything happens, no matter what happens, this is worth it. This is 100% worth it.
Yeah.
But it was a scary thing to do.
So when are you signing the movie deal? Because that is like incredible.
God's Not Dead #5.
Angel Studios presents.
That could make a Garmin video.
Oh sure, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I think that a student approached you, and instead of saying, "Hey, I can't talk about this," you just let God speak through you. That's a lot of what our next topic is about is how do you, the audience, start using your platform for Christ.
Yeah.
In Brian's case, he just waited for a student to be in need and rose to the occasion instead of denying it. I think that's a lot of the good and faithful Christian life, is just being on guard and ready for the occasion. Because there's not that many moments in your daily life that you have to step up, but when you do, you need to.
Yeah.
Not everyone has microphones. Not everyone has followers. Josh doesn't. He'll get there. 100K this time next year.
No, probably not. Hopefully. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Don't worship it, though.
Nope.
Anyway, not everyone's got all that, but you do have people in your life. And your influence over those people starts now. It doesn't start later.
Yeah.
Everything you do now has their attention. So to reach these people, you need to make sure that you're keeping Christ at the center of your own life. You can find ways to evangelize through your work. Say you're a construction worker, you work those extra hours, or extra. You take someone's extra load. You help them out. Be a generous coworker. You can bring up faith in your conversations with people. Not in like a pressuring way, but I'll just often tell people, like, what people ask me, what are my plans for the weekend, and I'll say, oh, well, I'm singing at church this Sunday, and that's enough to plant the seed without pushing. I could have just said I'm doing nothing, and for the rest of my weekend, that's true. But no, I'm going to church. That's what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, man.
I also recommend that everyone stay informed, read up, get in the good word, so that when someone comes to you with a hard question about salvation or baptism or any other difficult questions like the nature of the Trinity, you probably won't answer that one right. But try to be in the know, or at least know what is not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it comes down to, again, that being prepared. Because you never know when that's going to happen. I had no clue that that student was going to come up to me and talk to me about that. And it was at school. It wasn't a place that I was expecting it either.
Yeah.
I just had to be ready. And so it's about, like you said, about reading the Bible. It's about being firm and being firm in your knowledge and in your faith. And just, again, with that platform, your life is your platform. So you need to be ready at any time for that moment to come up.
Yeah.
And when it does, don't be afraid.
And most of all, just love the people around you.
Right.
Everyone in your life deserves care. They deserve for you to be a shoulder they can cry on. Help people when they're in need. Buy someone lunch, Sit down and have a chat with somebody. Bring them a cup of coffee. Just love people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, when you do that, that is probably the best thing you could do. I mean, that's the greatest commandment, or second greatest. Love God, then love people.
Love people.
Yeah.
And that's because, in 2 Corinthians in chapter 3, starting verse 2 and 3, it says, "You yourselves are our letter of recommendation, written on our hearts, to be known and read by all. And you show that you are a letter from Christ delivered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts." So if I am loving, people will take notice.
Yeah.
And they're going to ask me about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
They're going to wonder, why is he so loving, or why is he so much different than everyone else?
Yeah, and we're not talking about, you need to be a visible model of Christ through being sinless, through being pure.
Well, because that's just not going to happen.
You ought to strive to root sin out of your life, but you're going to fail. And don't feel like when you slip up that hurts your witness, because if you're still loving people, you are still doing the greatest commandment.
Oh, yeah. Well, we look in the Bible, we see several examples of that. I mean, we have King David, who had his own mistakes, but still was called a man after God's own heart.
Yeah.
We were talking about Peter earlier, the man who denied Christ 3 times in one night. Yet God also, Jesus told him that he is the rock that the church will be built on.
Yeah.
Like a man who publicly said, I do not know Jesus, is the same man that the church was built on. Like he was the founder of it. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you're gonna mess up. But when you do, don't let that stop you. Don't let that break you. Like your platform, your witness isn't over because of one mistake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Peter messed that up and then Jesus died, it took 3 days for Jesus to come back and forgive Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, Peter stuck with the other apostles.
Mm-hmm.
He continued to love them.
Oh yeah.
He continued to lead them.
Mm-hmm.
And that, even though he's waiting for Christ's return and it hasn't come yet, loving the people around him
Mm-hmm.
was enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just kind of wrap up here. For the viewer, if you don't take anything from this, but this one thing, I want you to take this verse with you. Because, I mean, to me, this has really spoken to my life. It's been a great part of my testimony. And kind of the reason why I find it important that we, through our actions and through love, like, we show people how we live for Christ. Matthew 5:14-16. It says, "You are the light of the world, a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven."